unfortunately, what people are doing is they're not saying we have to sit down and talk.
Right. I know.
We have to sit down and talk, even though you hate me and you don't want to talk. We must talk. I will insist on it, right? And to some degree, and that's the problem. That's why I say that the bad communication or no communication is the other pandemic. And and it's going to last a lot longer than the COVID pandemic and all its variations.
Right.
You can't cure it with a vaccine. You can only cure it by listening to people first.
Right.
And not listening to prepare your counterattack in the know thine enemy sense. Not in order to attack someone. Do you listen to them? You listen to them to really try to understand how could they possibly have a worldview so totally different from mine. The facts. How can they believe these things, but not insulting them and not dismissing them? It's much easier to condemn people and dismiss them than it is to try to understand them. It's just, that's more work. It takes a lot more work to be stubborn. And in a way, in the movie Falling, that you've seen, that I directed, that's one of the issues that's there. And it's, interesting. I've had reactions from people that have gotten that aspect of it, the communication thing, and other people that dismiss it, because they see a guy, these even reviewers that talk about, they love people just mayhem and violence in Marvel movies and other movies. And yet when it's in real life, psychological and verbal violence in a family, no, you can't have an old white guy saying racist things, homophobic things. What are you talking about? It happens all the time. Our president's been doing it did it for 4 years. What the hell are we talking about? We can't see stories like that. Where are you coming from? We have to be able to say these things, talk about them, air them out, and listen and try to. It's not just, I'm going to lead by example, but I refuse to talk to anybody that I disagree with. We'll all just stay in our corners and hang out with and talk with only people we know. We'll only watch news sources that agree with our pre-existing views. It's like we have the most ability technically that human beings have ever had to understand history, culture, other nations, other races, religious beliefs, atheists, anything, nature, everything. And yet we refuse to educate ourselves. And some of us think we're super smart in doing that. We refuse to learn anything else other than what sort of fits into our worldview. And there's no future in that. In our story in Falling, there's a son. I'm not telling people they have to do this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in this story, I don't like stories that give you answers or, tell you resolve things. I like questions. So the question is, are there people you can't communicate with? Are there people that don't deserve to be communicated with? I don't think so. And in this story, there's someone who's as stubborn about trying to communicate with his father, who doesn't seem to have any interest in communicating with him or anyone else. He's great with nature, but he's not good with people. He could give a fuck. And what do? There's no guarantee. That's the thing that people don't like. They like some guarantee. Well, I want a guarantee of a result. It's like, well, you might be really stubborn and try to communicate with someone who's not willing to communicate with you, and you may never get anywhere. But you got to try. If you don't try, if you write them off, then then there is no progress.
So I think a lot of people are feeling despondent about that there may not be any hope in terms of what you're talking about, being able to communicate with somebody who's so far, who seems so far gone. And let me say this. So if people if they can't communicate, if they don't even want to try to communicate, and if we are that lost, then where's the hope for, just in the case of this pandemic, of, in this country, if we all don't do certain things, and all of us don't. I think what the scientists have said, if even 75% of us can just do the social distancing, wear the masks, and get vaccinated. Yeah. And I, hear from my friends who are more on the left, saying they don't know if they want to get vaccinated. They don't trust it. Trump rushed it through to get reelected. There's never been a vaccine this fast. You hear all the, and it's all seems, these are rational criticisms or concerns. But at the same time now,
well, it's like saying as an astronaut, I don't know if I want to get on that rocket to the moon because nobody's ever gone to the moon before. So people have made the vaccines faster. Maybe that's called scientific human progress. Necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, I don't know. Yes, something could go wrong, but you could trip and fall walking down the street. I mean, if there's one thing the pandemic has taught us is that life is precious. You got to make the most of it. You could get sick and die at any time. That's always been true. But now everybody's aware of it. So what are you going to do about it? Well, get vaccinated. It's like.
So we now know after, the vaccine's been out for over 2 months. People have not been dropping like flies. I don't think nobody's died. People have had sore arms. And so it seems like it's okay to get the vaccine.
Maybe that's what people need, is just to see others do it and then get some courage,
Yeah. So, so should people should I do it? Should I do it publicly and just say, hey, everybody, look, I'm still standing
couldn't hurt.
Let's get this. Because the thing is, if 70% of us get vaccinated, we have a chance of getting out of this year. Yeah. Not out of it in the sense where this virus probably isn't going away for quite some time. It's going to mutate. We got a problem.
Right.
No doubt. But we also don't have to be prisoners to it either. And I'm just so afraid that we've gone so far down the road in opposite camps that I have even lost the ability to figure out a way to talk to people in the old way that I used to talk to people who I disagreed with. If I was sitting next to somebody on the plane and they would say to me, I've seen your movies and I don't like what you say. And they'll bring up a subject like abortion, and they're against abortion, and I will respect them. And they believe that a fertilized egg is a human being. No. Okay. I don't believe that. The science doesn't say that. A seed is not a flower. A stem is not a flower. A flower is a flower. But that's what you believe. So what I would always say to the person is, if you believe that about abortion, then you should never get one. Seriously, I support you never having an abortion, but you don't want to say to somebody else that they can't do something because you don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that the way we were taught to live? Is just kind of like live and let live. Mm-hmm. My neighbor believes in that religion, or my neighbor over there has a really goofy way of doing this, or maybe, oh no, my neighbor over there why aren't they mowing their lawn? Oh, because they believe in the new concept that we should just let grass and weeds and everything grow. That's what they believe. Right. That's how they want their lawn. That's how they have their lawn. It's not my business. I don't know. We've lost that.
Although, yeah, it might affect your lawn because suddenly in your lawn there's ticks and all kinds of shit. But the thing of living.
Yes, but that is when I have a say. Yeah. I have a say. If you light up a cigarette right now and I don't want to breathe that smoke, you are affecting me. It's not just your right to smoke.
Right.
You may be upset that they put a red light at that corner that didn't used to have a red light, and you think you have the right to not follow it because that corner doesn't need a red light. God damn it, I'm going through it. And it's like, no, dude, we're all in this together here. You have to stop at the red light.
I know sometimes it's a matter of degree, but certain things are common sense. I mean, when you have Congress people refusing to stop at metal detectors because they don't want to divulge whether they're carrying, a gun in their pocket or not. Yeah. it was, they wouldn't get allowed, and then they just push their way through. And what's the poor security guard going to do? It's a congressman, and that's. But that would never happen in an airport. You refuse to go through the metal detector, you're not getting on the plane. Period. End of story.
Right.
You don't wear a seatbelt and you get stopped by a cop, you get a ticket, whether you think it's right to wear them or not. It needs to be that way for the masks right now, I think, but whatever, that's another story. This thing of live and let live, the tricky thing about that is that some people interpret that as, well, screw you, we're doing our thing. We believe in the lasers from outer space that are starting the forest fires. We believe, that all the Democrats are cannibals and eat children. I don't even know what all this stuff is.
Right.
And that, so forth. And we're just not going to talk anymore. I know that's not the live and let live you're talking about. I don't think that's good. I think we have to talk. You can be interested in other people while you're letting them live and let live, and you can disagree, and you can you have to talk. That's the problem, is that people aren't talking anymore, and they're certainly not listening, which is the first order of business. That's the problem.
So what's our way out of this? What's our way out of the pandemic? What's our way out of the fact that there's such vitriol between the two sides? I don't know if I think I have some of the answer, but I don't have all of it. I don't know what to do, really.
I think you have to treat people like, imagine someone that you just want to yell at them because they're saying these really crazy things and even really destructive things, racist things, anti-Semitic things, misogynistic things, and you want to just shout at them. But then as an exercise, look at them and think, okay, they don't know it. But I know that they have terminal cancer and they're going to be dead in 2 months. And it's a human being.
Right.
Talk to them thinking about that, even if it's not true. As an exercise.
Yeah.
This person.
No, it's a great exercise.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay.
Yes.
And I think you generally do this. You have to just be stubborn. You have to be a pain in the ass, but don't do it shouting and insulting.
Right.
You have to just keep insisting. Like in a story where you're taking care of an older person, or in the case of the movie, where it's someone who has dementia and they're really a difficult person. I wrote an extreme character. It's like, does that person deserve help? It's like, hell yeah, everybody does. But he's someone who's just so offensive, right? And they're still a human being. That's what we forget when we just shut people off completely and we start screaming at them. Certainly if we punch them or shoot at them.